Hello, I'm Robert Moore, and my topic is reality television. Okay, how many of you have watched a reality TV show? How many of you think that's modeling good behavior? Okay, that is my main point. Reality television has a significant negative effect on society. If any of you don't know what reality television is, it is a genre of television programming that presents purportedly unscripted situations, documents actual events, and usually features ordinary people instead of professional actors. Another term I should get out of the way is non-directed self-exposure, which is the sharing of details about oneself without a clear recipient, like what people do on Facebook, Twitter, or blogs. I have two main secondary claims and supporting claims for them. My first main secondary claim is that reality television negatively affects those who watch it. The supporting claims for that are people who watch reality television are more narcissistic than average, people who watch reality television are less concerned with morality than average, and people who watch reality television have an increased negative body image. My second secondary claim is that reality television negatively affects society directly in both the online and real world. The two supporting claims for that are reality television increases crime rate in areas that the shows are set in, and people who watch reality television participate in non-directed self-exposure more often. For my first supporting claim that people who watch reality television are more narcissistic than average, there's a study by Dr. Stephen Rice and Jim Wills, Why People Watch Reality TV, which found that people who watch reality TV were more concerned with social status than average, and also had a higher tendency to feel self-important. Their conclusion for this was that people who watch reality television, like the Jersey Shore, to see how terrible those people are and then feel better in comparison. I know I've certainly had that experience. My second point from the same study are that people who watch reality television are less concerned with morality than average. Not only are they less concerned with morality, but they have put a more importance on vengeance and vindication. Have any of you watched Survivor or any shows like that? Have any of you had one person that show you really, really hate and felt really, really good when they get kicked off? There we go. And for my third point, that reality television increases negative body image in those who watch it. There's a study by Suzanne Mazio and many others about the effects of reality television on cosmetic surgery makeover program on eating disorders and attitudes and behaviors, which found that women who watched the program The Swan, which is a cosmetic makeover program, had higher felt that they had more pressure to be thin, and that they could control their body image either through surgery or extreme dieting to a higher extent, as well as an overall lower self-esteem. This was also found to be higher in white women rather than women of minorities. My fourth point, part of the secondary claim, was reality television increases crime rate in areas that shows are set in, by a study by Leslie Chow and Mary Lopez, The Reality of Reality Television, does reality TV influence local crime rates, compared the towns of Laguna Beach and Dana Point, two very similar towns. The only difference is that Laguna Beach has the program Laguna Beach, the real Orange County set in it. And they found that since the program started, that there was a 9% increase in residential burglaries, an 8% increase in auto thefts, and a 13% increase in rape, versus Dana Point's decreasing crime rate following the national average. This summed up to having by month, 2 more burglaries, 2 more auto thefts, and 3 more rapes. My final point is people who watch reality television participate in non-directed self-exposure more often. By a study by Michael A. Stefanon and Derek Blackaff, reality television as a model for online behavior, blogging, photo and video sharing, found that people who watch reality television, especially those who watch it with their friends, had shared photos, videos, and other things more often online. And their conclusion for this was that reality television demonstrates the value of being known as being good and famous, often with prizes as well. And so in summary, my claims were that reality television negatively affects those who watch it in the forms of increased narcissism, less morality, and higher feel of vengeance, and more negative body image. As well as reality television negatively affects society both directly in the online and real world in crime rates and non-directed self-exposure.
All right, I like the audience survey as an illustration of what you're talking about, and it does provide an interesting highlight for the subject. And you do state what your proposition is, although I think you could highlight it a little bit more because it seems like it's sort of buried there in with your survey and some of the details that you're providing us on the structure. The preview is too complicated. You basically said, okay, I've got 2 points, and on the first point I've got 3 points, and on the second point I've got 2 points. On that first point, the 3 points that I'm going to be talking about are 1, 2, and 3. Now, on the second point, the 2 points that I'm going to be talking about are 1 and 2. And now let me get to the body of the speech. That's too much. All right, so just tell us what the 2 main points are, and then label it internally when you get to each of those points. There are 3 ways I'm going to try and show you that this is true. And I think it'll be a lot clearer. It just seems convoluted at the beginning. I thought you did a good job citing your sources and your experts. There's a lot of opinion evidence that is integrated into the speech pretty effectively. The statistical evidence on crime, I'm not sure I see the link that is being provided, especially to reality television watching. I could imagine that there's reality television, I don't know, maybe people show up in Laguna Beach because they think that's where all the rich people are and they go there to rob them, but I'm not exactly sure that that's the inference that you're making here. It's really a little bit unclear as to how that data is supposed to be integrated into that. The Swan thing is kind of an old example, but it does suggest that there's a causality question here. Is it the watching the shows that provokes those kinds of behaviors, or is it people who have those kinds of attitudes that are more likely to watch those shows? That's a question that I don't think you've quite answered on this. You do a pretty good job talking to the audience, although it's a little bit dry sometimes when you're presenting it, although I like the opening. All right, thank you.